Hello guys, Josh here from Sportitude and it is shoe review time and this one is exciting. It is the Gel Nimbus Lite, this shoe here, and you heard it correctly, I said Gel Nimbus. It is a slightly lighter take on the current mileage shoe from the Asics family, the Gel Nimbus 22. There's a lot of similarities between the two, but there is a lot of differences as well. And specifically targeting two different runners. So there's a lot to get through with this review. I'll show you my Nimbus lights that I've been using for the best part of about 6 weeks now, put some serious Ks in them, and I'll give you some honest feedback and tell you what I think of this shoe. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So first things first, let's just profile the runner that should be looking at this shoe. Okay, now like the name's sake, it is lighter than the current Nimbus 22. So I'll get the men's up here, and as I said before, it is a little bit dirty because I've done some serious Ks in this shoe at the moment. So now, men's wise, the Nimbus 20, or Nimbus, pardon me, Lite in comparison to the 22, which is this shoe here, and I've done a review on this shoe as well. Now the difference between the two is 310 grams for a men's size 9, 270 grams for a men's size 9. 40 grams difference between the two. That is a lot of change in terms of weight reduction. Now they've been very clever about how they've taken out the weight and sort of still kept it nice and stable, but now I need to harp on the fact that it is pitching to two different runners. Okay, now what we've got here with the Nimbus Lite, now we've got a shoe that has full ground contact, so I'm going to go outsole, midsole and upper. Full ground contact underneath here. So you can see the women's ones I am holding, there is no trussic beam through that mid-stance phase. Weight reduction 1. You can see through here in the men's that I've got here, there is a little thermoplastic beam, TPU beam, that sits right here, gives some structure and integrity through that mid-stance cycle. So you may sit there and go, well, I want stability. Why doesn't this shoe have it? Now, this shoe is seriously targeting a heel striker. I've got to be honest. If you're a midfoot runner, you can still run on it. It's okay. You're not going to break down. But if you're a heel striker, this shoe here, when you come down and strike ever so slightly out the front of center of gravity, you need a little bit more cushioning, a bit more oomph underneath your heel, and that's where that beam through mid-stance gives a little bit more support as you go through your braking to mid-stance phase. That's why the Nimbus 22 has that extra rigidity through here. Let's talk about the Nimbus 22 and why it doesn't have it. Now, yes, you can still heel strike in this shoe. However, there's a little bit more flexibility through mid-stance. So you will lose a little bit of torsional stability as you go through mid-stance. So what we're going here now is we're not going necessarily heel striker, we're looking at someone who now comes down and hits more of a mid-foot pattern. Therefore, you've got so much more purchase area underneath your foot through here. So that's why the full ground contact, the exposed rubber through mid-stance is fantastic. It's a reduction in weight, but it gives that midfoot runner a lot more purchase with the ground when you're coming down on that impact zone of your gait cycle. Then as you transfer through to the forefoot, it is almost identical to the 22. So you can see that the outsole flexibility, the flex screws that go across the horizontal plane. So we're talking here again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Nimbus 22s. And then we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Nimbus Lite. So essentially we're talking about the same amount of flexibility through toe off from the 22s to the Nimbus Lite model. Coming through now to the midsole, again, this is where a lot of the weight reduction has come out of this shoe. So Nimbus 22, you can see the gel pod at the rear of the shoe, and it's got a twist gel pod through the forefoot as well. Without cutting the shoe in half, you're going to have to trust me on this one. Now there is a small pod at the back of the shoe, encapsulated inside the flight foam midsole, and the same thing with the twist gel through the forefoot as well. So they're still providing an element of gel cushioning. However, the size of the gel pod has been reduced ever so slightly. Now, again, why is that important? Why can they reduce the size of the gel pod in the heel? Because it's not necessarily for a heel striker. This shoe is for a midfoot runner. So most of the vertical impact on this shoe is going to come down through a contact. So when your foot sinks into the shoe or your heel sinks through mid-stance, you're not going to really rely on the bigger gel pod that the Nimbus 22 has. That's why they can make it ever so slightly smaller, but still provide an element of comfort, an element of cushioning through the heel unit as well. So as I said, full flight foam midsole, really nice and spongy on the foot. It feels fantastic when you put it on. You know you've got a cushion shoe on. You can actually feel the cushioning underneath your foot compressing with every single step, and I really, really like that with this shoe. Coming through to the upper, there's not a lot that's different from the 22. You've got a nice deep heel counter around the back. Again, it's going to cater for that runner that has an orthotic. Take the sock liner out, put your orthotic in. There's plenty of depth back here for that variety of heel raises inside orthotic. So you've got a little bit to play with there as well, which is fantastic. As always, remember to do your heel lock lace if you have an orthotic, just to lock that heel in a little bit better. As you're coming through to mid-stance, it's almost identical to the 22. So I'll grab the 22 here, Nimbus 22 that is. You can see that the upper itself, might even bring it closer to the camera, you can see all the stitching, all the overlays, the actual material itself is almost, well, it's actually identical, just different colours through here. So the idea there being it's going to breathe the same, it's going to feel the same on top, it's going to give you the lockdown through that mid-stance area that you require and still provide plenty of wriggle room through the toes when you're going through your toe-off phase of your gait cycle. So this shoe, Nimbus Lite that is only available in the one width. That's probably the downside, if anything. So you've got the B in the ladies and you've got the D in the men's. And obviously with the Nimbus 22, they're going to carry that width family across. You've got a variety of widths available for the Nimbus 22. So that's a bit of a wrap, overtake of this specific shoe, the Nimbus Lite. I do want to just grab mine because I want to validate the fact that I've ran some serious Ks in this shoe for, as I said, 6 weeks now. I'm going to be honest, this right now is my mileage shoe. This is what I'm doing my longer runs in. I love it. I'm a midfoot runner, so when my foot comes down, hits this region through here, I know I've got a really cushioned shoe underneath my foot. It feels stable up top, so when I get to the sort of back end of my longer runs, my foot can get a little bit loose or lose a bit of form. The heel support around the back of my calcaneus, around the back of my heel, just gives me the security and the structure that I need. And I love the flexibility through the forefoot. It almost feels like what I experienced out of the Brooks Glycerin, that nice flexible toe off through that shoe, because the Glycerin has 6 flex screws where this has 5. So it's a nice flexible shoe through that toe off phase. However, for me, I just love this cushioning system. Again, there's not the highlighted call out with the gel in the heel and obviously through the forefoot. So you may think it's not going to be quite as soft, but underneath the foot, it feels softer. It's plusher, it's lighter. The only downside is I reckon this shoe is probably going to last maybe 150, 200 kilometers less than the Nimbus 22. So I reckon if I get 400 to 450 kilometers out of my Nimbus 22s, I'll take that as a win. But yeah, it's a great shoe. I really, really like it. So from my perspective, it's got 2 thumbs up. As always, any questions with all of my reviews, pop them in the video below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to our channel. We love to give as much information on all things shoes to you at home. And yeah, until next time, happy running.